Welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm Gary, and this is not David. So it's Thursday. It's about 10 minutes to 9. Dave and I are going out for dinner tomorrow night with our families, so I might not have time to record a video tomorrow night. So I thought I'd try and get one recorded tonight that'll come out for Saturday. Dave and I recorded a video on Wednesday night, which will come out tomorrow. So there's a lot of small things going on that are just sort of not really beefy enough where I want to do a reading on. You've got uh, Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman that Trump wants to fire, and there's some shenanigans going there. And then you've got the Senate guy from North Carolina. Um, what's the guy's Tom Tillis, who's telling Trump, hey, in the GOP, you better release that Epstein information, otherwise you're going to be paying for it in the midterms. Laura Trump being pulling out for consideration for the Senate race in North Carolina. Uh, Hegseth Signalgate is back in the news. There's just a lot of things going on, but nothing really feel like reading on. JD Vance getting uh, booed and jeered by catwomen when he was out for some sort of fundraising event. Um, and then I was going to start doing a reading on the South Park premiere episode where they're basically had Trump and Satan in a sexual relationship. And Satan basically saying Trump is just like Saddam Hussein, which they had Saddam Hussein and Satan in a relationship, and I think it was the South Park movie. It came out in the late '90s or early 2000s. Um, but yeah, it's like okay. I tried to do reading on that. And I got to the first cards and I realized that I just didn't have anything for it. So we're just gonna do an overall what's next for Donald video, just because I don't really have much to go on. And it's just like okay, well, I'm open minded. What's next for Donald? There's a lot of crap going on in the world right now. What's going on with Donald for entertainment purposes only? What's coming up next? What's the next trials and tribulations? Okay, so we got the foundation reads the magician. This is probably Trump trying to manifest a way out of some of these situations he's finding himself in. You know, trying to work that old Trump magic of deflect, divert, deny, delay. The cross is the Nine of Pentacles. Um, I think what what this was our Kamala Harris card, but I'm not going to do that. To me, this is kind of like this is what when you take care of your finances and things of value, you it's basically kind of reaping what you sow. If you've lived a good life and you've invested well and you've saved and whatnot, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, if you will. Um, he's busy fighting things. He wants to go out and play golf all the time and not have to worry about anything. But all these scandals and all of this drama, a lot of which he brought on himself, is coming to the surface, and he can't relax and enjoy himself anymore. This could also be Melania. Melania not letting him relax either. Haven't talked much about her lately either. So what else have we got coming up for Trump in the future? We got the Moon card. This could be that mental health, just confusion, stuff being hidden. Not coming to the light, a truth to be revealed sometime in the future, not knowing what path to take forward. Um, that certainly holds. There's in the past, and this was the first card I drew when I was trying to do on the South Park. In the past, um, Trump was very successful in uh, identifying who to other, who to punch down and kick down on. He's sitting behind the stained glass, nice and warm, and looking out the window and seeing, looking down on the people that he doesn't agree with, the people that don't uh, rise to the level of respect that Dear Leader has. So, this could be gay people, this could be brown people, this is Democrats in general, anyone that speaks ill and disagrees with Dear Leader. It's funny. I'm going to come up here real quick. I was talking to David yesterday, and Tucker Carlson, who's not a big fan of Donald Trump, let's face it, was talking about, they were doing an interview with him, and Donald Trump had said something about Tucker Carlson had called up to apologize for disagreeing with Trump on Iran. And Tucker Carlson said that phone call never happened. And I don't know, I'd be happy to apologize to the president if I said something that I needed to apologize for. All I did was I merely disagreed with him on how he handled Iran. And to me, it's just like, Tucker, you're so close to getting it. You're just not saying you're not taking that final step and saying it out loud, which is, you cannot disagree with Donald, otherwise you're going to get thrown under the bus. And that having a leader like that, it's not right. Tucker knows it. He just won't say it out loud, because he got to the part where he would just say, I just disagreed with him. I don't need to apologize for disagreeing with him. There's no need to apologize for that. But that's the thing is, if you disagree with Trump, he demands an apology or he's going to throw you under the bus. And Trump is basically throwing anyone under the bus that disagrees with him, just like MAGA, because MAGA wants the Epstein files released, and he's willing to walk away from them because they disagree with Dear Leader. Current Energy is the Hierophant. Yep, head of the government. This could also be actions of the government. Right now, we know the Supreme Court's in his back pocket. There's no doubts about that. But it's spinal growth in Congress that will ultimately lead to his demise, to his removal. What else is going on? Overarching energy is the Queen of Swords. The truths are coming forward. The truths are coming out. Even Tucker Carlson saying, "Why should I have to apologize? I just disagreed with him." He just doesn't say the last part, right? Which is, and I shouldn't have to, because it should be okay to disagree, to agree to not agree. When you've got a thin-skinned, lawsuit-happy president that can't take criticism, you're in a situation where, do you really think that this is the right person to lead the country? So Queen of Swords, truth is coming out. And this truth it could be to the voters that voted for him. It could be to MAGA about, hey, you want the truth about the Epstein files. He says he's the most transparent president ever, and he's not releasing the information. What does that tell you? The lesson to be learned is the Three of Pentacles. I think what we got here is there are people are starting to work behind the scenes. Dave was alluding to it in the reading we did regarding Rupert Murdoch and his media empire. They're starting to push back on Trump again. He's releasing little trickles of information about Trump over time, and I think what's happening is there's backroom conversations on how do we get rid of this guy. What are we going to do to get rid of this guy? This could also be medical teams coming together and saying, this guy's losing his mind. How can we keep him going? They've already admitted to some of his health issues, and you realize that what they're admitting to is probably just scratching the surface of what the true issue is, because we all know he's 6'3" and 235 pounds, right? What's the outcome? Once again, you got that Seven of Cups, illusions and delusions and confusions. His mental health is getting worse. The level of crazy is going to continue. It's not going to subside. I don't think we need to throw tarot cards about that. And it's just basically, people are going to start seeing the crazy. And I think that's what I'm getting from that. It's just that the crazy is going to become more and more obvious. And instead of being able to relax and enjoy being president and all the trappings, he's finding himself under more and more stress and more attack. And that's probably going to start having a very noticeable impact on his mental, physical health. Okay. Alrighty. How is Mike Johnson feeling about all of this? What's the energy around Mike Johnson these days? Because Mike Johnson's been really flip-flopping, trying to cover Trump, but then demanding Trump release the Epstein documents. He's trying to walk that line, that fine line between placating Trump and trying to keep the GOP from getting hammered in the midterms. So the energy around Mike Johnson. Okay, foundation is the Six of Swords. He realizes that right now they are in some rough waters. He's trying to pilot the GOP out of this. He's trying to walk that tightrope and navigate their way out. The challenge is the Ten of Pentacles. This could be the monies that come flowing in. If Trump starts attacking Mike Johnson, there's a lot of support that may go away from Mike Johnson. It could also be Trump's legacy or even Mike Johnson's legacy. He's trying to walk that fine line to protect Trump's legacy is probably what this comes down to. The energy underneath is the Ace of Pentacles. He's got to find something. He's got to bring something of value forward, something new, something to divert the attention away from the current situation. Basically prove his worth as the leader of the House. In the past, the Seven of Wands, defending Trump, defending this Project 2025 from all the attacks from the Democrats. Current situation is the Lover's card. That's interesting. My first thought is that he and Trump's relationship seems to be okay. Although it seems like he's having a real tough time keeping this relationship going. He recognizes that because he's a politician that he has to keep on Trump's good side. But at the same time, he also needs to keep the GOP going. And he's going to have to make a decision eventually because Trump is too extreme. His legacy demands that you defend him. And at the same time, you have to show him all the love and all the loyalty because I'm the dear leader. The ever-present Five of Pentacles. Overarching energy is if he doesn't show his love and doesn't defend him and protect his legacy, he's going to be kicked out of the club. And he'll be out there with the rest of the people that have been shunned and thrown under the bus. Lesson to be learned is the King of Wands. You need to start taking some decisive actions. You need to take decisive actions in order to avoid this fate. Outcome. But he's seeing the illusions, delusions, and confusions, the crazy. So Mike Johnson is also seeing that Trump's behavior is unhinged and it's not getting better, and people aren't going to be making sense of it. He's not going to be able to walk that fine line much longer. At some point, he's going to have to pick a side. Do I keep my job or do I try and keep the GOP in power and keep the party going? I don't think you can do both. Trump's going to be a lame duck real soon. At a minimum or at a maximum, 2 years from now, he's a lame duck. After the November elections, Trump's done. He can't do anything anymore. And so, maybe that's what Mike Johnson's just trying to do, is trying to keep the love going until November of 26, and then he can start growing a spine. I don't know. What are the Democrats going to do? the do nothing Democrats. That was another news article, was the Democrats want to do an autopsy on the 2024 election. I don't, who knows what they're going to find if they decide to do it. But if they do one, they need to be damn honest with themselves on how they want to move this thing forward. I think the biggest thing the Dems need to do is they need to roll up their sleeves and start fighting. Stop being so damn polite. Stop being so fearful of offending anyone. Screw it, man. Gloves off, man. Let's fight. You gotta. If you're gonna fight, you need to fight to win, not to be nice and not to be fair. You need to win. Look what the GOP did with it, and now we're all suffering because of that. So, how are the Democrats? What's the energy around the Democrats right now? Okay, Wheel of Fortune. Anything can happen. There's nothing. Nothing is nailed down yet. Their fortunes are spinning on the wheel. The challenge is the Ace of Pentacles. They got to find what they can bring forward of value to the voting public. What platform? What values? What things can we bring forth? Because, and this has shown up in every single reading so far, because underneath it, we are out in the cold. We have been left out, and Trump is in power. In the past, they had the Page of Wands. They had messaging going after the youthful voters. They were taking new actions. We weren't going to go back. And that didn't work out in this election. Current situation is the Eight of Swords. Their hands are tied. They don't have majority in either the House or the Senate. They got a Supreme Court that's stacked against them. Right now, their hands are tied and they don't have a path forward. Overarching energy is the Two of Swords. It's time for a choice. You cannot keep going down the same path. You can't do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. It's the absolute definition of madness. Lesson to be learned. Three of Cups. If you can provide something of value, move this messaging forward. You can take the blindfold off and you have a path. And then you've got a choice now. If you choose to go down a different path, you might celebrate. If you continue to do the same thing, the Republicans are going to celebrate. Outcome. Magician. Time to manifest a new future. It's time to create a new future here. So, message to the Democrats. Stop doing it the same old way. It's time to do something different. Find what it is you're bringing of value. That's the tough part. And there's probably a lot of traditional Democrats that are scared of the progressives. But you know what? You need that fire, that energy of the progressive side to get people charged up and out to vote. They don't, they want action. They want you to fight. The time is ripe for it. The Republicans keep fumbling and giving the Democrats opportunities, but the Democrats are not in a position to take advantage of those opportunities. And they need to get their proverbial shit together and get a plan going and just start taking advantage of all these opportunities. The Epstein information is their best opportunity right now, because even the Republicans are demanding this information come out. You'd think they'd be able to get something by some bipartisan agreement, move forward on this and get this information out there. And it's going to do one of two things. It's either a big nothing burger and there's nothing in it, and then basically Trump and the Republicans lied through their teeth about all this salacious information that was out there, and the deep state and the pedophile Democrats, and it was all just a bunch of hogwash. Or there's a whole bunch of really powerful stuff in there, and there's going to be a lot of careers ending. And it's not going to be just Democrats. It's going to be a bunch of fucking Republicans in that as well. It's a real win-win scenario, and the Democrats, they need to play hardball with this. All right, that's what I got. So thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like this stuff. Hit the bell. We'll wake you up at midnight. And unlike those other bargain basement Twin Tarot with Gary and David that actually have both Gary and David, this is the superior version with not David, who doesn't say much, but he thinks a lot. Don't you? And we give shout outs. So I'd like to give a shout out to Luana Bailey, who made a very kind contribution to the channel. Thank you so much, Luana. You're not breaking my heart. I'm very happy that you're out there in the comments. And David, I truly appreciate you. And then to Tennessee Chin, who made yet another contribution to the channel. Thank you so much for that. You got the Two of Wands. So you have a choice. You got some actions that you can take in the future. It's take the high road or the low road, but think about what you want in the future and take some actions to get you there. And then let's just give a quick shout out on my screenshot. I've got Pick and Duck. Hi, Donald, whose message was 8647, but he did it in Roman numerals. So hooray. Thank you, Donald. Fortunately, I remember my Roman numerals from elementary school. We got the Nine of Wands. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people that would like to 8647, and he's got a lot of battles and a big tampon on his ear, so to prove it. So hopefully, eventually, Trump will be removed, and we can all move forward in a happy sort of way. And then just a card for the rest of us. The King of Pentacles. Yeah, you know, it's just we all have something of value to bring. It's not necessarily money. It could be wisdom. It could be compassion. It could just be a kind word. You know, we're all valuable. And that's the thing that Trump doesn't get. He sees value as who's rich. And that's not real value. That's just one measure of value. I'd rather be happy than rich any day. And then there was someone who wanted to shout out, I'll give one final shout out to all the blue dots in red states, all the blue drips in red oceans out there. You got the Seven of Cups. It showed up in every single reading. It's one of those, yeah, it's all sorts of crazy out there right now. And you have to go out there. You have to out there and live it, right? Like Bunny Young, whose sister is MAGA. It's just they go out there and they spew their nonsense, and you have to sit there and smile and nod and and inside you're going, this is just absolutely knucking futz, right? We're in a blue state in a blue city, and it triggers me every time I see a pickup truck with American flags and a Trump bumper sticker. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it really grates on me. I can't imagine what it must be like living in it. So, you know, tip my hat to you. Hearts go out to you. That's a tough place to be. That's a tough assignment. So hang in there. We'll catch you on Sunday. Both Dave and I doing some readings. Hope you have a great day, folks. Take care. Bye.